Stop believing that to be respected you need to shout louder than others. True respect is not asked for, not bought, and not imposed with threats. It is earned by the way you walk, the silence you keep, and the consistency between what you say and what you do. People feel when someone has control over themselves, and that kind of presence doesn't need introductions. We live surrounded by noise. Everyone has an opinion, everyone interrupts, everyone tries to be seen. But the more the crowd talks, the more the one who knows how to be silent stands out. The one who listens before responding. The one who doesn't need excuses or embellishments to support their words. That calm in the midst of chaos is what makes others stop, look, and respect. Stoicism teaches that self-control is stronger than any shout. Whoever can govern themselves transmits authority effortlessly. Their posture is firm, their voice is clear, and their actions confirm what they say. They don't need to convince anyone, because every gesture of theirs confirms their character. This video is not about nice phrases or superficial advice. It's about reclaiming the strength you already have, but perhaps you've let get lost among impulses, fear, and doubts. Here you will discover 6 principles that will make you attract respect and attention without raising your voice. Principles that you can practice daily so that your presence speaks for you. Get ready, because what changes your life is not what you promise to do tomorrow, but how you decide to act today. Respect is not begged for. It is built with discipline, clarity, purpose, and above all with the way you face what is in front of you. 1. The power of silence. Silence is not the absence of words. It is the presence of control. The one who learns to remain silent when everyone else is shouting demonstrates that they are not at the mercy of emotions or the pressure of the moment. Silence is like an invisible edge. It doesn't cut with noise, but it marks boundaries that no one dares to cross. In a world where everyone fights to be heard, the one who knows how to be silent becomes a mystery, and mystery attracts attention. Imagine someone who, in the middle of an argument, decides not to react to the first insult or the first provocation. Not because they don't have a response, but because they understand that not everything deserves one. This kind of silence is uncomfortable because it reveals self-control. While others consume themselves trying to provoke a reaction, you preserve your energy and your composure. That is the first sign of respect, showing that you are not easily shaken. The Stoics knew that silence is a reflection of inner strength. Seneca said that he who masters himself is not a slave to words. When you silence yourself in time, you're not losing the argument, you are gaining ground. You don't give unnecessary explanations. You don't fall into the game of those who seek to provoke you. And, above all, you make yourself heard more when you finally decide to speak. Silence is also an act of observation. While others rush to fill the space with opinions and judgments, you have the advantage of listening, analyzing, and understanding before responding. It's a strategic tool. The one who listens first has more power to choose their words later. In that space where you remain silent, you demonstrate that you do not act on impulse but with intention. Practicing the power of silence does not mean withdrawing or hiding. It means carefully choosing when to speak and when to let silence speak for you. For example, in a meeting where everyone seeks to impress with speeches, staying calm and listening attentively makes your voice, in the end, carry a different weight. Not because you shout, but because you chose the right moment to intervene. Silence also protects your dignity. Every time you respond with unthought words, you give others control of your emotional state. Every time you react immediately, you lose a piece of authority. Silence gives you back the command. It gives you seconds to think, to remember who you are, and to act according to your principles, not provocations. In everyday life, applying this principle requires discipline. It means learning to contain the impulse to comment on everything, to avoid justifying yourself when it's not necessary, and to understand that you don't have to explain your worth to anyone. Sometimes silence is the most powerful response to criticism, gossip, or provocations, because it exposes the weakness of those who seek your reaction. Think of the figures who inspire the most respect. They are not the ones who talk the most, but the ones who talk less, but with meaning. Their silence is not empty. It is a statement that they do not engage in the game of appearances. Every moment you remain silent with firmness, you build an image of someone who doesn't need the approval of others to validate their character. The power of silence, then, is not passivity. It is contained action. It's showing that your mind commands your tongue and that you are not agitated by what others say. A man or a woman who masters silence becomes someone who is heard without having to raise their voice. That is the kind of respect that is not begged or negotiated. It is inspired. 2. Respect in your stance. Before uttering a single word, you are already communicating who you are. The way you stand, how you maintain eye contact, and the way you occupy space say more than any speech. Your posture is the silent language that people interpret without realizing it, and often defines whether they take you seriously or not. A hunched body, drooping shoulders, and evasive gaze convey doubt and fragility, even if inside you feel strong. On the other hand, an upright, firm, but relaxed body with the head held high says without words, "I know who I am and I don't need to prove it." Respect starts there, in the way you inhabit your own body. The Stoics understood that self-control is not only in the mind, it is also reflected in the physical form. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the dignity that even the most tired soldier must show, not to let fatigue drag the body or discouragement bend the shoulders. Posture, then, is not just a physical habit, it is a declaration of inner strength. Observe those who inspire genuine respect. Their walk is neither hurried nor fearful. Walking upright with firm steps, not out of arrogance but out of confidence, is an act of presence. Keeping your shoulders aligned, your chest open, and your gaze direct shows that you are not afraid to take your place in the world. This posture is not about imposing oneself on others, but about not diminishing oneself before anyone. In an everyday environment, a firm posture distinguishes you even in silence. For example, in a room full of people who gesticulate excessively or seek attention, the one who remains calm, with a straight back and relaxed arms, projects control. This physical stillness not only commands respect, it also generates trust in others, because it shows that you are not being dominated by anxiety or nervousness. Good posture is also an internal reminder. When you straighten up, when you lift your chin and fix your gaze without arrogance, you tell your mind that you are not running away or giving ground. It is a physical anchor that helps you maintain composure even when circumstances try to destabilize you. The Stoics insisted that the body and mind must be trained together because you cannot aspire to a firm mind living in a body that crumbles under tension. Practicing respect in your posture does not require military perfection, but constant awareness. Start by correcting the habit of hunching over when you feel uncomfortable or insecure. Maintain eye contact long enough to show interest and conviction without aggression. Do not cross your arms as a shield or move your feet nervously, because these unconscious gestures convey insecurity. In important conversations, your posture can change the course of how you are perceived. If you lean too far forward, you seem desperate for approval. If you back away with your arms crossed, you seem closed or defensive. On the other hand, if you stay centered, with relaxed shoulders, a firm gaze, and hands visible but calm, you project openness and control. This body language speaks before you and often louder than your voice. Respect in posture has nothing to do with appearing intimidating or pretending superiority. It's simpler and more powerful. It means that you do not allow circumstances or emotions to bend you. It means that even in the midst of tension, you continue to occupy your place with dignity. This kind of presence calms the atmosphere and compels others to treat you with consideration, because you demonstrate self-control without saying a single word. 3. Prove with actions. Nothing destroys credibility faster than broken promises. We live surrounded by people who talk too much about what they will do, about their plans, about their goals, but when it comes to acting, they don't even fulfill half. Over time, words become noise and lose their weight. True respect is born when you stop announcing and start demonstrating. Actions are the clearest language there is. They don't need explanation or justification. The Stoics believed that virtue is measured in actions, not in speeches. Epictetus said that you can't call yourself brave for your intentions, but for what you do when the test comes. The same goes for respect. Nobody gives it to you for what you promise, but for what you achieve. If every word you utter is backed by actions, you build a solid reputation that speaks for you even when you are silent. When you fulfill what you say, you not only demonstrate discipline, you also send a powerful message that you are a trustworthy person. And trust is the foundation of all genuine respect. People don't follow the one who talks the most. They follow the one who delivers. Think of any leader you admire. You don't remember them for their beautiful speeches, but for what they did, for the tough decisions they made, for the example they set in difficult times. In everyday life, proving with actions means acting without the need to announce every step. If you decide to change a habit, don't proclaim it on social media. Make the change and let the results speak. If you promise something at work, deliver it even before the deadline. If you give your word to someone, keep it even if no one is watching you. This kind of consistency between what you say and do is increasingly rare, and that's why it stands out. Whoever proves with actions never needs to defend themselves with excuses. Instead of justifying yourself, explaining why you couldn't, you do what is appropriate. This consistency not only elevates your respect in the eyes of others, but also strengthens your own self-esteem. You know you can trust yourself, and it shows in your speech, your posture, and even in your silence. There is something powerful about surprising people with results rather than words. The prior silence generates expectation. The subsequent actions confirm that you were not seeking applause, but to achieve your goal. This contrast makes each of your actions earn twice the respect, because people understand that what you say is not smoke, it's a fulfilled promise. Stoicism teaches that we should not live to impress, but to improve. Acting consistently is harder than talking about greatness, but it's the path that forges a firm character. In a world full of empty speeches, someone who fulfills what they promise becomes an admired rarity. That kind of person doesn't need to raise their voice to be heard. Just showing results is enough for their presence to carry weight. Practicing this principle requires discipline and humility. Discipline to not give up when no one is watching, and humility to understand that actions, not praise, are the real reward. It means to stop announcing what you will do, to avoid the temptation to impress with words. It means choosing to act even when others expect explanations. The respect that is obtained with actions is hard to earn, but also impossible to lose as long as you maintain consistency. There is no stronger argument than a fulfilled action. There is no more solid defense than the visible result. Therefore, if you want to be taken seriously, speak less and do more. 4. Speak clearly. Words can build bridges or raise walls. Many people believe that to impress, they must speak in a complicated way, fill their sentences with embellishments and technicalities, but all they achieve is to confuse and alienate. Clarity, on the other hand, is power. When you speak directly, without beating around the bush or hesitating, you convey confidence, and that confidence forces others to listen to you. Respect does not come from the volume of your voice or the complexity of your vocabulary. It comes from the way you manage to get your message across intact. A man or a woman who expresses themselves with precision leaves no room for misinterpretations or doubts. Every word counts and feels intentional. This is not just a natural gift. It is a skill that is trained with self-control and practice. The Stoics understood that speaking clearly is speaking with a clear mind. Seneca insisted that we should not use unnecessary words or convoluted speeches, because what is said simply is remembered more strongly. Clarity does not seek to impress, it seeks to impact. And in a world saturated with competing voices, the simplest and most direct message always cuts through the noise. Speaking clearly also means abandoning the habit of justifying oneself. Whoever makes too many excuses reveals insecurity. When you constantly justify yourself, your voice loses firmness. On the other hand, when you respond with brief, direct, and respectful phrases, you project confidence. You don't need to explain every detail or convince everyone that you are right. You trust your message and leave it standing without adornments. Clarity is not coldness. It is respect for your interlocutor. It means that you value the other person's time and do not fill it with empty words. For example, in a difficult conversation, speaking clearly involves saying what is necessary, without beating around the bush but with serenity, so that the other person understands your position even if they do not agree. This ability to be direct but calm generates respect even in the midst of conflicts. Practicing this principle in everyday life begins by controlling the impulse to speak too much. Before responding, breathe and think. Is what I am going to say necessary? Is it true? And does it contribute something? If it does not meet these three conditions, it is better to remain silent. This way you avoid impulsive comments and start choosing your words as tools, not as vents. Speaking clearly also requires listening attentively. Whoever listens well understands better and therefore responds better. Most discussions escalate because people do not stop to understand. They just wait their turn to answer. If you pay real attention to what the other person is saying, your responses will be more accurate and avoid confusion. The clear voice does not need to shout. A direct and firm sentence carries more weight than a prolonged speech. Think about the time someone gave you a simple instruction without an aggressive tone, but with such conviction that there was no doubt that they were serious. That is the strength of clarity. It cuts through the noise, eliminates excess, and leaves only the essentials. Speaking clearly not only makes you respected by others, it also strengthens your own mind. It forces you to think before speaking, to organize your ideas, and not to be carried away by momentary emotions. This process of reflecting and synthesizing turns each conversation into a conscious act and trains you to maintain calm, even in tense situations. 5. Discipline that inspires. Discipline is one of those virtues that needs no introduction. It doesn't announce itself, it doesn't boast, but it's perceived in everything you do, in your punctuality, in your order, in your consistency, in the way you fulfill what you decide. Discipline inspires respect because it shows that you don't live enslaved by your impulses, but guided by your principles. While many give in to comfort or excuses, those who maintain their routine, their habits, and their word rise above the rest. The Stoics believed that self-mastery was the highest form of freedom. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the greatest victory is over one's own character. Discipline, then, is not a punishment. It is the training that strengthens the mind and body to resist temptations, fatigue, and external pressure. The disciplined person projects authority because they show that they can govern themselves before trying to influence others. Think of someone who keeps their word, who gets up early without depending on the motivation of the day, who trains their body even when they don't feel like it, who maintains focus even when no one is watching. Discipline speaks the language of facts and creates a type of leadership that is not imposed but earned. In everyday life, discipline is noticeable in the small details, in how you take care of your space, in how you respect your own time, in how you fulfill your responsibilities even when there are no immediate rewards. It's getting up and moving forward when comfort invites you to postpone. It's doing the right thing even when no one applauds you. Each of these gestures builds a silent but powerful reputation because people perceive that you are reliable and consistent. The discipline that inspires is not rigid or inflexible. It is firm and constant. It's not about living without rest or demanding perfection from yourself, but about staying true to what you know you should do, without giving in to the whim of the moment. The Stoics understood that there is no greatness in giving in to laziness or easy pleasure. For example, sticking to a sleep routine, dedicating daily time to learn something new, training the body even for a few minutes, meeting the deadlines you set yourself. The important thing is not the magnitude of the action, but the consistency with which you repeat it. This daily repetition shapes your character and strengthens your will until others recognize that your word carries weight because it is backed by solid habits. A disciplined individual conveys confidence because they show that they do not depend on circumstances to act. When things get complicated, they do not break or look for excuses. They continue with what they must do. This serenity in the face of adversity impresses more than any gesture of impulsive bravery, because it shows that self-control is not something that disappears under pressure. In work, in studies, or in any personal project, discipline becomes a silent calling card. People trust more in those who fulfill what they promised without constant reminders. They respect those who arrive on time, those who do not need supervision to do their job well. This consistency between intention and action generates a natural authority. Others understand that you are not waiting for inspiration, but that you are someone who acts without depending on excuses. The discipline that inspires does not seek external recognition. It seeks to honor the commitment to yourself. It is a reflection of self-respect, and that respect is contagious to those around you. 6. Act with purpose. People notice when someone lives aimlessly. It shows in their words, in their gestures, in how they start things and leave them halfway, in how they talk about goals they never achieve. This lack of direction immediately steals respect, because it shows that there is no conviction behind their actions. On the other hand, those who act with purpose project a type of strength that does not need to be proclaimed. Every step they take seems to make sense, and that is impossible to ignore. Acting with purpose means moving guided by clear principles, not by impulses or the approval of others. The Stoics taught that we should direct our lives towards what depends on us, towards what adds value, and not waste energy on what is not under our control. Epictetus said that true freedom begins when you stop living to impress and start living according to what you consider right. Purpose is not an abstract idea. It is reflected in everyday decisions. It shows when you choose to say no to what does not contribute to you, when you invest your time in what strengthens your mind and character, when you keep calm in the face of provocations because you know it is not worth losing energy. Living with purpose does not mean having all the answers. It means having a clear north that guides even in the midst of uncertainty. Those who act with purpose become reliable because they do not change course with every fashion, every foreign opinion, or every passing emotion. This firmness awakens respect because it shows that their actions are not improvised or manipulated by the environment. People trust more in someone who is clear about why they do what they do, even if they do not agree with all their decisions. In everyday life, acting with purpose is consciously deciding how to use your time and energy. It is avoiding useless arguments, not falling into provocations, and choosing who you share your attention with. It also involves setting clear boundaries, because you know that saying yes to everything is betraying your true path. These types of decisions do not always please others, but they do strengthen your integrity and reputation. Purpose gives direction even in difficult times. While many break under pressure because they do not know why they are fighting, those with a firm goal better withstand obstacles. The clarity of a purpose works like an anchor. It prevents you from getting lost in doubts or being carried away by the emotions of the moment. This stability generates respect because people admire those who stand firm when everything seems to wobble. They talk a lot but advance little and end up being perceived as inconsistent. On the contrary, those who act with a clear sense convey security even without uttering a word, because every gesture of theirs reveals that they know where they are going. Practicing this principle does not require great motivational speeches. Start by asking yourself what values guide your life, what kind of person you want to be, and what daily actions bring you closer to that vision. Then act according to those answers. Do not stop to seek external approval, because the respect you seek does not come from flattery, but from the consistency between what you believe and what you do. True authority is born when your actions are aligned with your purpose. Every decision made with intention strengthens your character and projects confidence to others. 7. Facts, not excuses. Excuses are like smoke. They fill the air for a moment, but they don't hold anything up. Every time you try to justify a mistake, a delay, or a broken promise, your credibility weakens. People don't respect those who always have a reason not to deliver. They respect those who deliver even when no one is watching. The difference between someone trustworthy and someone who isn't lies in their ability to respond with facts instead of defensive words. The Stoics were clear that character is measured in actions, not explanations. Seneca warned that spending time justifying oneself is wasting energy that should be used to improve. When you replace excuses with actions, you demonstrate maturity and responsibility. This change sends a powerful message. I don't look for culprits. I assume what corresponds to me. In everyday life, this principle translates into something simple but powerful. If you fail, you acknowledge the mistake and correct it. If you promise something, you fulfill it. If you can't fulfill it, you say it up front before others find out. People who act this way gain respect even when they make mistakes because they convey integrity. They don't need speeches to regain trust. They regain it with firm and consistent steps. The tendency to make excuses comes from the fear of others' judgment and the comfort of not facing the consequences. But this habit erodes your own image and chains you to the past. When you decide to break this pattern, you start to show that your word carries weight. The absence of excuses doesn't mean perfection. It means assuming that you can always act to improve what is under your control. Those who get used to delivering results instead of explanations inspire trust and admiration. At work, everyone prefers the person who solves problems rather than the one who explains why they couldn't. In relationships, more value is placed on those who change behaviors than those who promise to change someday. In yourself, you respect your character more when you know you respond to challenges with facts, not justifications. Practicing this principle requires self-control and humility. Self-control to not fall into the temptation to defend yourself at the first question, and humility to accept mistakes without feeling that this diminishes your value. It's a habit that slowly transforms your reputation, because every time you deliver instead of explain, you strengthen the trust others place in you. In a world where everyone rushes to justify themselves, the one who stays silent, assumes, and acts stands out for their serenity and determination. That kind of person doesn't need to talk too much to be taken seriously. Their results say it all. Changing excuses for facts turns your word into something reliable, and a reliable word is worth more than any elegant speech. 8. Listen before you speak. Respect is not earned by talking non-stop. It is earned by knowing when to be silent in order to understand. In a world where everyone wants to be heard but few want to listen, the one who masters the art of listening immediately stands out. True listening is not just about being silent. It's about paying attention with intention. It's about showing that you value what the other person has to say, even if you don't agree. The Stoics taught that we should not respond immediately to every word we receive. Epictetus reminded us that we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth for a reason: to listen more than we speak. The one who acts with patience and listens before passing judgment demonstrates self-control, and self-control always generates respect. Listening does not make you weak, it makes you strategic. While others lose their cool and rush to answer without thinking, you observe analyze and understand what is behind the words. This gives you an advantage in any conversation because you know exactly when to intervene and what to say. People respect those who do not interrupt to impose their opinion, but first seek to understand. In everyday relationships, listening carefully avoids unnecessary conflicts. Many arguments do not escalate because of the content, but because one of the parties felt ignored. When you really pay attention, you convey that you value the other person, and that alone eases tensions and elevates the quality of any dialogue. Also, it allows you to respond more clearly because you have understood the entire message instead of just reacting to fragments. Listening before speaking is also an act of humility. You acknowledge that you don't know everything, that perhaps the other person has something to teach you or a perspective that you have not yet considered. This openness makes you wiser and keeps you away from the arrogance that closes doors and raises barriers. Practicing this principle requires more than just staying silent. It involves looking at the person who is speaking, avoiding distractions, not planning your response while the other person is still explaining. It's about giving space to silence to process the information before responding. That brief moment of pause shows that you speak with intention and not on impulse. In tense situations, the ability to listen can diffuse conflicts. When the other person expects an aggressive reaction and instead finds calm and attention, the atmosphere changes. Your silence makes it clear that you do not react in the heat of the moment and that your response will be thoughtful. This control does not go unnoticed. In fact, it becomes one of the most respected qualities in leaders and influential people. Listening before speaking makes you someone who conveys security and respect. You don't need to compete for attention because your silent presence already shows that you are not there to impress, but to understand. In a world where everyone speaks to be seen, the one who listens to understand ends up being the most influential, because when they finally speak, their words carry the weight of reflection and balance. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment "I am Stoic" as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.